Hello, and welcome to Coffee Chat with Jody. I am Jody Myciak, for the ones that don't know me, and I'm an empowered mothering coach and mommy guilt expert. And this coffee chat is for you moms out there that find it a little hard to get out of the house, or your kid might be napping now, and it's just really a great place to connect. So please comment, like, share below. And we have a really exciting topic today. And we should just jump right in because it is really full. It's a really packed conversation. So grab your coffee or tea or whatever other beverage, a green smoothie, protein shake, whatever you drink, and enjoy this little coffee chat. And again, at any time, please share what kind of topics you'd like to talk about. Have any questions? I would love to address them on here. If you would like to share, and if you'd like to have anything answered. So I'm here for you. So sit back, relax, have some coffee, put some thumbs up, some hearts, whatever your heart contains, and let's get right into things. So last week, if you missed it, we talked about a lot of things, but at the end I mentioned triggers, that I was triggered last week. And then I was like, you know what? This is a huge conversation. Let's talk about it next week. So in that time frame, I actually was triggered again, and we'll actually talk about it, and I'll share some personal stuff with you and how I overcame stuff and what it is. So what exactly is a trigger? A trigger is when someone says or does something that creates this negative action, like negative response in you. So it can look in so many different shapes and forms. For me, for a long time, it was anger. I would just get angry, it was really bad. Like I had a lot of anger built up from my childhood of putting a mask on and pretending to be somebody I wasn't. I held a lot of emotion in, and it was coming out as anger. So when I got triggered, it was real anger, and it was really not good. But at the same time, it was. And I'll explain why in a minute. And so it can show up in anger. It can show up in sadness, hurt, like you just feel hurt inside. You're just like, wow, they just really hurt me there. Like just real deep emotions will come to the surface when you get triggered. Reliving your story, reliving the comment that they said, the conversation that happened, whatever happened, you relive it. That was what happened last week for me. And validating your actions, your life choices, anything that's going on in your life, and you feel like you have to validate it, you have to justify what you're doing to others. Those are triggers. So for me, a long time, my trigger was just, like I said, anger. It just showed up as anger. It's like, when I was angry about something, like real, not like the tired, cranky anger, but there's something that somebody does something, says something, and I get triggered. It was anger. But lately, because I worked on so many of my triggers that surrounded those triggers, they don't show up as much anymore. And that's a great thing about triggers. And we'll keep talking about them. But what I just discovered is triggers show up in so many different ways. So a while ago, I was validating my life choices, how we do things in here, justifying the fact that my husband goes grocery shopping instead of me, when it doesn't really matter. Like I almost did, like I caught myself. I'm like, wait a second. It's like, why do I need to do this? And it's also making excuses. So when somebody says something and then you just start, like, so for instance, last week when I was triggered, I wanted to start, not a battle, but I wanted to start saying, like, picking on the other person. When hurt people hurt. And I was about to say something to my mom, and I'm like, well, that won't solve anything, and that won't get us anywhere. So I stopped, and I was like, I need to do work on myself. So let's go into, so we'll go into why. Why do we get triggered in the first place? So why does this all show up? And it shows us, like I said, where we need to heal. people come into our life and show us when we need to heal. And so some point in your early life, somebody told you that this behavior is unacceptable. You might have watched people grow up that did this behavior. Or it was just, in your house, it was unacceptable. And for me, last week's trigger was about a clean kitchen. And there's a layered thing, because I've actually been working on this trigger myself. And I realized it's layered. My whole childhood, it was all about I guess we always had a clean kitchen, but it was always about clean, like when people are over, your house is clean. There was always a lot about being clean. Like my grandma's house was always clean. And, I don't know about you, but if you've ever had it where you have a room that you stuff things, when people come over, you get all your clutter and you stuff it. Like I saw my grandma doing that. And I'm not 100% sure if my parents did that. Their house is a lot smaller, so there wasn't many places to stuff things. But you have this, we have to perceive, we have to hold this front that our house has to be perfect, or has to be clutter-free. And it just had a lot coming from my childhood. But then it also had this other layer of just wanting to be, it just had, I'm looking for a word and it's not here. Acceptance for my mom. It was a really interesting childhood growing up, but I'm not going to go into it because we're talking about triggers. But it brought up a lot of things like, I just want to be accepted. And it stems from my childhood. So we'll go into a little bit more soon what, actually that's the next thing we'll do is change it. So the great thing about this, so people come in our life, they show up, we get triggered from, either from crying, lashing out, making excuses, or you don't even realize you were triggered till the next day, or we do a really good thing where we bottle our emotions down. We just I don't like that emotion, let's bottle it away. And that's what happens when we relive our stories. So I already knew something was going on that day that we were hanging out. But the next day when I kept reliving things, I'm like, oh, wait a second. Something's not done here. So catching yourself and realizing that you're reliving stories, things people said to you, and it means that you need to figure that out. But you know what's awesome? Because people trigger us. They're in our life. They trigger us. It means that we need to heal somewhere, though. And the awesome part about that is that means we can change it. We can change the situation. We actually have it. It's very powerful. Now, I'll say completely, just because we can change the way we respond to somebody doesn't mean that their actions are actually acceptable or a good thing or anything like that. But what we're doing is we control our emotions on our side. That's all we can do. We can't control people's actions. We can't control what people say. But the really awesome thing is we can control how we react. We don't have to feed into whatever they're going through. We don't have to lash out. We don't have to feel burst out and then feel horrible about it later. We can be like, oh, this is what's happening, and then just move on. And we can see them as wherever they're coming from, or because again, hurt people hurt. So if somebody's saying something nasty to you, they're picking on you, it's coming from a hurt place inside of them. But we can't fix them. We can't. I know for the longest time, I felt that's what needed to happen. It's like, oh man, this person needs so much help. And it turns out I needed to heal. And the moment we heal, it changes so many things. I've fixed so many triggers in my life that have helped me and have solved so many relationships. And it's really incredible. And of course, I'm still working on them because I also had another one, and I will share that very soon. I just don't want to lose track. There's a lot of juicy things I want to share with you today. And just checking. I actually have notes today because I don't want to miss anything. Yeah, so we get to control how we react to people. And it is really freeing and really, really powerful when we do this. When we work on our triggers, and the more you work on triggers, the more you won't be triggered. So, for instance, I had one a few years ago now when I was working on my own personal journey of becoming an empowered coach. And I actually went to do one trigger, and it actually solved triggers I had with two different people because it was the same trigger that was showing up. So when we don't deal with our triggers, life has a funny way of giving us more. So it's like you keep getting triggered, and it's eventually like, hello, open up, let's deal with this kind of thing. So the world has a really funny way of showing us where we really need to heal, what we need to focus on. And again, it's so powerful. It really is. It is so amazing when something happens and you're like, oh, before I used to freak out or I'd get angry or this would really hurt me. And now you look at it a different light, and it is so, so amazing and freeing. So I'm going to share with you I'm going to share the process. And I've discovered that there's different processes for different things. And I'm going to quickly explain the other trigger I had this week. And it's something I actually thought I was done with. Over the weekend, my in-laws were over, and we just brought up something about like the past. My dad doesn't like technology. He pretty much pushes away from it. He's very much doesn't want that. And that's okay. That's his choice. Growing up, though, that was really challenging for me. And I'm sure for my siblings. Now, we never had a computer, and I was in the age where computers were starting to become a big thing. Where in school, in high school, so I'm 34. So here in Canada, I think it was by 9, 10, things like we needed to start by grade 11 for sure. Homework always had to be typed. Like you couldn't write it out anymore. It couldn't be freehand. Everything had to be typed out on the computer. So having no computer was really frustrating for me. And I thought I already cleared all this up, but the moment we started talking about not having a computer growing up, I got really angry. Like I could hear my tone, and I was like, yeah, I didn't have a computer, and I got really angry. Like not the crazy anger that I used to feel, but I could feel the anger in my voice and my tone. And because I always felt, I was like, well, no wonder I didn't do so well in school. And I went through this rabbit hole of feeling sorry for myself and angry about it. So later that night, I go to my husband, I go, I'm still angry about this, aren't I? I'm like, I'm still angry. And he's like, yeah. So I dealt with that and so what I did was, that's a past trigger. So it wasn't that somebody just said something to me or their own actions triggered me, but something from my past showed up for me and said, hey, you're not done with this yet. And then I got really thinking, and instead of thinking like, oh, what if I had a computer? What if I had parents that like really supported school instead of like hated it and all that fun stuff? What if? And so I flipped it. And I was like, well, what kind of person did I become because I had to do this? I had to struggle through this. And I realized that I've become a really great problem solver. I can look at things and have to change it because I don't have everything at my fingertips, and that is okay. In life, we don't always have everything at our fingertips. So I'm a really good problem solver, and it came really handy when I was in fashion school. And I cut something by accident, and I was like, oh crap, there's a hole in my garment, and I had to fix it somehow. So it's really just taking life and problem solving and being on your feet to do it. And so in that, I actually was like, thank you. Thank you for making me the person I am today. I thank my dad for making it hard for me when I was a kid so that I could be the person I am today. Instead of holding the anger of the what ifs, the should haves, could haves, what would my life look like if we had technology at our fingertips? What if I didn't have to work so hard or have all my lunches taken up from working on my homework on the computer in the library? what would my life look like? It doesn't matter. That did not happen, right? So it's like letting that part go, making peace with that, and then accepting who I became because of it. And it's really amazing. So that's one way I worked with my past trigger that came up. Now, if you're one person, it's like, oh my gosh, I have this person in my life that triggers me, and you get frustrated or angry or upset, I encourage you to get out your journal. This is mine. I decided to share it with you today. It doesn't get as much love as I'd like it to these days. I really am much about getting to sleep as soon as possible these days. But when I really need somewhere to write, to work out my problems or share some successes, I write here. And it's really amazing. When you put pen, you might not even know what you want to write. And you put your pen to paper, and all of a sudden stuff comes out. It's just been emotions staying in your body. And it really just helps, and things and ideas and just emotions can come out really freely when you let it. So I really encourage, if you don't have a journal, it can be really simple. I actually bought this one because it has trees and it's about growth. And I'm all about growth and just reaching out of my comfort zone and kind of branching out of my comfort zone. So I really encourage you to journal, and this is a great way to get through your triggers. And let's talk about that. So you might have been waiting, like, okay, well, I just need to know how to work through my triggers. Now, I just shared how I did it for a past trigger. And it's really just slowing down and listening to yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your body. And the number one thing about triggers is realizing when you have them. That's the biggest thing about triggers. So I encourage you today, if you're listening to this and you feel like you're angry or upset around somebody often, or like you have it somewhere, first step, start paying attention to when they happen. Second is, so who triggers you? And I really encourage you to write this down in your journal. Who triggers you? And what is that behavior? What are they doing that triggers you? What is causing you to feel angry, upset, justify yourself, validate? Like, what is it that they're doing? So really, first, figuring out when you're getting triggered. What does that look like to you? Is it anger? Is it even going introverting inside? Are you, and like maybe you're even avoiding this person because you'll get triggered. That's another one I didn't even mention. Triggers can show up in so many different shapes and forms, and it's really just being aware of them. So first, figuring out what it is. Who is it, and what behavior is triggering you? Those are some main ones to really figure out, because then you can get clear on where it came from. So those are the first 3 steps. So, and I would really, again, encourage you to start journaling, because we're going to go into your past. These behaviors that come up were taught. Like, somewhere down the line, somebody told you that this person's behavior that triggers you was not acceptable. So figuring out, like, going back to your past. So who was it that taught you that behavior was unacceptable? And maybe who in your past has actually done this behavior in the past? And how does that make you feel? And when did you do it? Because you've probably done it yourself before and you don't even realize it. And then figuring out how you've been trying not to do it. So I know there's a lot going on here. This is a really tricky little thing. So the first 3 we've gotten pretty solid. And then it's going into your past. Who taught you that behavior was unacceptable? who has maybe done this behavior in the past? How has this behavior showed up for yourself personally? So that means how have you, like, when have you first acted in this behavior? And how have you tried to stop it yourself? So how have you pretty much tried to keep this from showing up in your own life? So we have this habit of like kind of hiding away from behaviors we don't like. So how have you been doing that? And then take it a step further. How has this behavior, like keeping this behavior out of your life, been good for you and bad for you? So what are the benefits, pros and cons of both behaviors? And then it's getting to the work of forgiving these people in your life, forgiving the person that's unacceptable, forgiving the person that has done this in your life. And it's really writing it out and say, I forgive you. And if you can't, then it's going back and going deeper into your emotions that happened before. And it's also forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself about this behavior, for what you've done in the past. It's making peace with these past behaviors. And then the really cool part, where if you follow Louise Hay, she very much was all about mirror work. And it's getting in front of that mirror and doing the I am. And this is powerful for so many different things, but it's to get uncomfortably comfortable with this behavior. And so it's getting in there. It's like, I am. It's like, so like, I am a fraud. And you keep saying, I am a fraud. I'm a fraud, until it doesn't feel bad anymore. You don't have those emotions. It just feels neutral. Like, okay, I'm a fraud. You'll know when you get there. It's only a one-time activity. You don't do it over and over and over. Like, this is not an everyday thing. These are not affirmations. This is, you go to the mirror and one behavior that triggers you at a time. And you work with it until it doesn't feel, there's no emotion behind it anymore. It's neutral. And that is where the magic again happens. And then see what happens when you come across these people again. And it's going to be really incredible. It is like, I was unaware. I was one of those people that thought when I got triggered, it was the other person's fault. It's like, oh man, that person makes me feel horrible. I was that type of person that would stay away from that person. Like, well, you need to work on yourself. I need to keep you out of my life until that happens. That is not necessarily the case. Now, there are loving people from afar sometimes, depending on the circumstances. You know, abusive, physically and mentally. There's lines, and that's another conversation for another day. And if anybody really wants to talk about that, we can. There's a fine line, but when we just get triggered and we get angry or sad or frustrated, we can heal that part of ourselves so we don't feel triggered. And again, the person that says something to us, it might be mean, it might not be appropriate, but we can react differently. We can actually, once that trigger is gone, we can be like, look, this, we can actually step into our power. That's why I say it's powerful. We can step into our power and say, look, when you say that to me, it really, like, you can just, if you can actually say it hurts, but like, that means your trigger is not healed. But it's like, I would appreciate if we don't bring this up again, or whatever it might be, but you can actually have a conversation with this person without being angry. Like, I'll share a personal story with one of the triggers that I've done. And it was actually my first trigger experience ever, I think. And it used to be with my father-in-law. And we just had my daughter. They were over a lot. And they were always, like, they were just helping themselves to stuff, doing things around the house. I think one of our cats almost got outside, and they're an indoor cat because he opened a garage. And I got really angry. It's like, well, who is he to show up into our house? And even just saying this now, I'm so like, oh my goodness, why did I get so angry? It's funny when we get rid of these triggers. I thought it was a huge ordeal. And then I worked on triggers. And the funny thing is, as we went on, these things didn't happen anymore. So it's really listening to your body, your mind, your being, your soul, and really figuring out when you get triggered. So it's really, really freeing when you let those go. Like I'm sure my blood pressure went up like a crazy amount every time they were about to visit. Now it's not a big deal. I look forward to them coming. And it's amazing. It really is freeing. And I really encourage you to work on this if you have triggers. It might not be the best time to journal the moment it happens, but it's like maybe you need to walk to the bathroom. Like when a trigger happens, especially if you're getting really upset, is to walk away from the situation, even for a moment, to breathe, maybe take a piece of paper or your phone out. We all have phones, or most of us do. Shouldn't speculate, but a lot of us do, and you can just write yourself an email or write it in a little note app and just write down like, oh man, like this just happened, and just jot down a couple things so you can go to it later. Doesn't always necessarily mean that we can write down our feelings the moment they happen, but take a step away when you get really frustrated, because anything said in the heat of the moment is not helpful. It's usually actually very hurtful. And it's just taking those moments to just breathe, get out of the situation. I know I had even a situation this summer where I was like, I should have got out of the situation sooner. I knew it, and I stayed for my kid. And unfortunately, I should have, could have, would have, right? So it's living from those experiences, though. And the moment you have it, try to get out of the situation. If you're listening to your body, there's signs before the blow up actually happens. So if you have any questions throughout, please let me know. This is a big conversation, and I could probably talk about this for a very long time, because it is life-changing. And please, again, I just want to reiterate, not everybody's actions are justified. Like somebody could be doing some really big harm, and then that might be when you love them from afar. You can still work on yourself, make sure you heal all you can heal. But sometimes we do need to love people from afar if it is dangerous, or like just sometimes people hurt, and sometimes they're so hurt that they're really hurting you on a deep level. And here's another fun fact. Sometimes you might need to love somebody from afar until you heal yourself. So if you know that you get triggered by that person or people, take some time away. It doesn't have to be long. It's not years. It might be a week or 2 weeks, depending on how often you see this person. But just take a little breather and just be like, look, I just need to work on myself for a little bit. I will be back, I promise. I love you, and I will see you soon, but I just need to do some inner work. It's okay to do that. It's absolutely okay to take time for you to heal so you can be stronger. That's the thing. So some of these people might not be very strong, but their words are right now. But the stronger you get, the less their words will be strong to you. They'll just be like words. So I hope that helps with any situations. And the reason I really wanted to talk about triggers is because the holiday season is fast approaching. And, we might see relatives or family or co-workers that we don't always necessarily see, or you're just in different settings. You might have alcohol in the mix, and that always brings up a load of emotions, and is getting really centered yourself so you can act from that empowered place over the holidays. So you don't look back and go, oh man, and you regret things, or you wish you could change things. The holidays are a magical time, regardless of whatever you celebrate. it is a beautiful time here in Canada. It's usually snowing, or we have lights out and things like that. So I'm hoping that this helps you set you up for an amazing, successful holiday season. And when I say successful, I mean, that it's this place of love. If we could all just enjoy life in general, and then the holiday, if we could just come from this place of love, all of us, this world would be a much, much better place. So it all starts with us. One person at a time can make differences and changes. So again, if you have any questions from today, please comment below or private message me, and we can talk more about triggers. And I have some fun announcements to make. I actually have so many announcements that I had to write them down so I wouldn't forget. That's how awesome this next little while is going to be. So first announcement is I've decided to do something fun and different that I haven't done before, and that is going to be doing a book of the month. So what that's going to look like is, I'm actually telling you a little sooner. This one's going to be for December. And what I'm going to do is at the beginning of the month, I'm going to announce the book of the month. And at the end of the month, we're going to do a Zoom book club party. And what that looks like is we'll jump on Zoom, and which is, if you're not familiar with Zoom, I just send you a link and you just click on it, and we all have a video chat, and you can talk. I can talk. Like, we can all talk, and it's like having a book club where you don't have to leave your house. So you can. I'm thinking of doing it at night, about 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, and I can get some ideas if that's not a good time and you're really interested. Let me know, and it'll just be once a month meetup, because that gives you a whole month to read a book. And it's just a lot of fun to do. It will be around topics that would be really good for moms. So I'm really excited to do this. And this way, we're all busy moms, and we don't have to leave the house. And you can grab your glass of wine, your tea, whatever you feel like drinking, and we can all just be on like we are you can even be in your PJs. There's no dress code. And it's really just about connecting and reading an amazing book. And yeah, I'm so excited. And I also welcome other book ideas. So if you have, I have this one for December. If you have any for the rest of the year, like in 2018, please let me know. And I look forward to seeing suggestions, because I love finding new books to read. And yeah, so I'm going to share the book right now. So the book that we are going to do for December is The Emotional Edge by Crystal Anders Myciak. And this is one of my, she's amazing. She's a mentor of mine, and she has changed my life so much. So I think this is a really good book to end the year with and go into 2018. And I actually bought this book. It just came out. I was pregnant with my son. I feel like it was 2 years ago now it came out. And I started reading it, and then I stopped. So I am actually reading this for the first time. I got a little bit into it, and I'm sad that I never actually finished it. So we are going to finish this, because this comes into, it's bringing your inner age, and it's about mother energy and daughter energy. And I really would love you guys to all know about that if you don't already. And it's really great. She's amazing, and she's a really good writer. And the things that we're going to be covering in here is really just discovering where we're coming from. And I'm just trying to see, these are all just write-ups, but yeah, so it's about archetypes. So she talks about it in this book about the parent archetype, child or adult, or hold on, parent, yeah, child or adult. And it's just different. It's just so it can be for men and women. But because before this book, she actually focused really on women, is mother, daughter, and woman energy is what this is. So it's just really incredible. And I think it's gonna be a really great way to ring out the year. So if you can, I'm sure it's been out for a couple of years now, so you might even be able to find it in your library. And you can get it now and start reading it now if you think like, oh, December is going to be busy with the holidays. And I'm leaning towards doing the Zoom party Thursday, I think. I wrote down the date. Thursday, December 28th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Now, that isn't set in stone. We can figure out who's all excited and wants to join, and we can work out a different time. So that's a very, I just want to do it near the end of the month. And yeah, so every month we're going to do a book. And again, please send me your ideas. Again, I love learning about new books. I obviously have tons of books to share with you that have changed my life. And I'm just really excited to go on this journey with you and read this one. So that's the first announcement. The second one is, don't forget that the 8-week telecourse, the Journey to Empowered Mothering, the sneak peek sale is on right now, and it is $89. So normally this telecourse runs for $289. So right now you'd save $200. But you don't even have to, like, right now, enter the contest. All you need to do is go on to my page, or here in the Self-Love Club, I've shared it. All you need to do is share, like, and comment, and you'll be entered into the contest. The more you do it, the more you're entered. And I'm excited. One winner every week for the whole month of the whole month of November. And so tomorrow, one of the winners are going to be announced. So please like and share. And next week there'll be a new comment. Same thing. Like, share, and yeah, one of you might be the lucky winner. So please. And then the sneak peek sale runs till November 30th. So if you just want to lock it in for a really awesome price, go there. And it's just going to be an amazing journey. I do have the journey planned out. And that being said, I am very flexible, because whoever shows up on the telecourse might not be where I think, like, we're going to go with who's there. So I have this journey planned out, and sometimes we have little detours, and it really depends on where you are and how we need to get there. So please sign up, because I am so excited about this, and this is an amazing way to get some really awesome coaching for a really good price. And then mark your calendars too. We are doing the 12 days of self-love, and I'm not calling it a challenge, because I don't think we need any challenges over the holidays. We really don't. We do not need any more challenges. We have enough to challenge. So it's just 12 days of self-love. It is focusing on you. It's committing to yourself over the holiday season. And it is going to start December 11th. So it takes us right up until the Friday before Christmas Eve. And then whatever other holidays you have in there, because it's a busy time for so many different people. You don't have to be even celebrating Christmas, but we're going to walk through this major busy time in a lot of people's lives. And it will end right on I feel like it's the 22nd, I think. Anyways, it ends up on the Friday. So December 11th, mark your calendars. It's exciting and it's free. We're all just going to show up. I'm going to hopefully do some Facebook Lives to really check in. And we're just going to have a lot of fun with this. And what else is there? Oh, yes, of course. So we've talked about the holidays already. And with it comes so much stress, overwhelm, triggers, all this stuff that isn't necessary. It takes away from the magic of the holiday. In fact, my family and I are we try to keep things simple. Our word for the holiday season is simplify. Simplify. We don't do a lot of gift giving. We don't need a lot of stuff. We need love. We need time. We need to lift each other up. So we actually do our own 12 days of Christmas. And we do activities, events for 12 days leading up to Christmas. We very much try to keep things simple. We don't travel over the holidays, or not like right on the holiday. But we simplify. And that is why I have decided, I have never done this, and I don't know if I'll be doing, maybe I will, I shouldn't say I never will do it again. Um, but I have decided to almost like slash my VIP coaching in half. So normally it's a 6 month coaching package, but this time, because it's over the holidays, I've decided to offer a 3 month coaching package, and it's like pretty much half the price. Why? Because I want to help support you through the holiday season. We all need support, myself included. I have my own coach, and we work on it together. Like, it's mostly business, but there's definitely been some personal, coaching there as well. We all need something to lean on, especially at the holiday season when you might have, situations arise. And I'm very much hands-on, and so my VIP, like, you're getting the best of the best. You actually get the 8-week telecourse for free, and one-on-one coaching with me, of course, and a group coaching group, and a community on Facebook that you can actually reach out to other people. And just the list goes on, and it's usually $597 a month. But now I'm going to be offering the 3-month coaching package for $997, which brings it out to, if you want to do 3 payments, it's $349 a month. And this is Canadian. So if you're in the States, this is like a real good deal. But I'm offering this to you because it's the holiday season. And again, I don't know how often I'll be doing this, but it is, you mommies out there need support. We all need support. So I'm offering that to you. So if that is something that's interesting to you, please just comment, or if you want to private message me, and we'll hop on the phone and chat. And yeah, so let's quickly go over everything. Book of the month, the emotional edge, and I'll actually put this all down, and I will be posting it later somewhere too. The Emotional Edge by Crystal Myciak. And then we have the 8-week telecourse. You can get that for free if you keep sharing, liking, commenting every week. New winner. And then the 12 days start on December 11th. And remember, you can grab my VIP coaching. It's pretty much half price. Unfortunately, it doesn't even out that way, but it's pretty close to half price. So, and it's a 3-month commitment instead of 6. And if you get it now, it goes right into January. It's funny because it's like people think that the holidays are over at the end of December, but it's really funny because you can have it before the holidays, the middle, and at the end afterwards, when everything, the high is over, the high excitement and everything is like, oh goodness, now you're fully exhausted and we need to really lift you up. So please reach out if that is something that you are interested in. I am here for you. I'm fully here. And because of the holidays, I don't normally do this, but I would actually, we could even do Voxer, which is a walkie-talkie app. So you can actually comment me, like, you could be the one that's Voxering me in the middle of a trigger, that kind of thing. I don't do this often. It's usually just email. So we can talk more, and I can customize it to all your needs. So please, reach out to me if that's something you'd like. And I just hope you have a beautiful day. This went a little longer, but it was just packed with so much juicy, awesome things today, I feel. I hope you did too. So have a beautiful day, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.